Recession. Some more economic indicators that the economy is economically segmented. Yes, economically segmented because, oh yeah, for the folks who's going to make recommendations, I am on Zyrtex. It's just they mowed my yard and I'm all messed up. But we are living in strange times. We're locking up babies. We are starting fights with our trade partners, and we're facing inflation. Some very, very interesting times indeed, but we're going to talk about that and more. But for now, I need to let you guys know meat, they just built a new Starbucks not half a mile away. There's an older Starbucks. I don't know if that's going to be one of the stores that's going to close. And then you go up the street, not half a mile away, is another Starbucks. So there is 1, 2, 3. And then there's some distance. It's like a mile and a half, 4. So there are 4 Starbucks in less than maybe 2 miles from the first one. So I always thought that was strange. But they're closing 150 underperforming stores, right? I'm sitting there like, but you're building. And they're building, I forgot to say, they're building another one. So they have clearly data that I am not privy to because it makes no sense to me to be building these stores this close together. But that's something that has worked for them because they've grown like kudzu. But now they're running into some problems. And I'm going to tell you what problems I think they're running into. Starbucks appeals to a certain kind of people. Someone who doesn't mind spending $5 to $12 on a cup of coffee every morning, or a group of people who like to use their free Wi-Fi. Well, our underclass is growing. Now, I know you're going like, Glendon. What do you mean the underclass is growing? Well, we've got a situation where we have more poor people than we've ever had before because we have a bigger population. Let's get rid of that. We have, just had to make sure the ads were turned off. We have a bigger population. We have situations economically that we have a class of people who do not have the economic skill sets, the marketable skill sets to compete in the current world today. So that gulf is getting bigger. And typically it is the people in the Silicon Valley, the people near Tech Village. These are Starbucks people, engineers, programmers, make 60 to 100K a year out of college. It's not a problem for them to drop $60 a week at Starbucks, $240 a month, $3,000 a year. Not a problem. That group of people proportionally is smaller because many of these folks who used to be in that group are falling out, which is kind of crazy since we have this big economic boom. We have this huge stock market. Unemployment is the lowest ever in some states. Like Nashville. How many of you know about Nashville? Nashville is growing like crazy. Nashville has an unemployment rate of like 2%. 2% because there's so much building and stuff going on, and they're growing. But oh, wait. How many of you remember that these half-finished subdivisions were out there? It's like their financing got cut off right in the middle of the project. Sounds familiar? All this building. Now with commercial, like a skyscraper or something, it's a law. They make sure that they get all that money up front because no city wants a skeleton skyscraper just hanging out in their skyline. But this is very reminiscent of 2007. Booming, but the slowdowns would hit here and here and here. It wasn't an overall slowdown. So what I believe, what I know, what I feel is that we are at the lip. And I mean, there's some sectors that are already in recession because Starbucks is a well-run company. Starbucks has had a few issues, but if Starbucks isn't careful, they can close. And I say this because Toys R Us. I'm a Toys R Us kid. I grew up with Toys R Us. They're closing down all 450 of their stores. A well-known international brand is closing down their stores. So Starbucks, this could happen to them if they're not careful. This can happen to them if they do not manage their debt. This can happen to them if they get caught with their pants down because the economy is shifting. I've talked about this. One of the things that has happened is you can do more with less. Like this show I'm doing. I'm doing it on my laptop, which was like $2,700. I got my iPad over here. That was like $1,300. So that's $4,000. I got the camera. That's I think it was a 129 because I got the wide angle. So that's 4,200. The Zoom recorder, which is 400. So that's 4,600. And the Shure mic, which is 400. So $5,000 sunk cost in this production. And then sometimes when I turn the lights on, and it'll still be in the 5,000. We'll go back 10 years. To do what I'm doing with $5,000 worth of equipment, would have had to have a cameraman, which just for the day, we'll just do day cost. $240 just for the cameraman. Then the monitors, then the technicians to do what I do to switch stuff. One of them, another $240, so that's $500. Then the cameras and stuff. Oh, the cameras were like at least $2,000. So that's $2,500. Then the set and all this other stuff. So to put on one show would cost them about $1,500 to $5,000, depending on how extravagant it was. One show. My sunk cost of $5,000 has allowed me to put on, I'm just going to throw a number out there. I don't know if it's true because I hadn't counted, but 100 shows. 100 shows this year. Because I know we're halfway and I've streamed pretty consistently. So at least 90 to 100 shows for a $5,000 sunk cost. And using the same equipment in studio and stuff, I can broadcast another 100 shows, but my costs do not go up. My costs are already here. My costs don't go up. You know, I'm thinking about getting a backdrop or some other stuff, but that's going to be nominal, maybe a few $100. So what happens for me and what allows me to put together this show for you is happening in business. We can do much more for less, a lot less. And this is what's catching people off guard. This is what's, because you know, you'll see it. It's like, hey, I know my job. I worked many years. I'm up to high pay scale. Then they get rid of me. They don't need you. They can do more with less, and it can be less expensive. And this trend is not going back. I don't care what Donald says. It ain't going back. It's not going to reverse itself. Why would you spend $100,000 when you can get better quality for $10K? You get more, not the same thing, but more for $10K. Why would you spend $100K? That makes no sense. It makes no sense financially. It makes no sense from a practical standpoint. It just makes no sense. Also, we have 100 people in the chat, so I need 88 of y'all to like this video. And I want everybody that's listening to the sound of my voice to super chat at least $5 and roll with it. Now, we have this situation. All right, let's just put this in here, where many people. Good Lord. I hate this thing. All right. Just for everyone that's tuning in, every man is a millionaire, 51% off in Hustlers Kung Fu Life Skills. Plus, spend $350. You will get Game 105. It ends today at 11:59 Pacific time. All right. So now, once again, we have people who are 40 years old. We have people who are 50 years old, and we have people who are 30 years old who don't understand that they must keep learning. They don't understand that they must keep thriving. They don't understand that they need to learn and unlearn. They don't really understand that. So everybody that's watching this at the sound of my voice, I want you to super chat at least $5. This stream is supported by you, the community. Now, we have so many people who see, let's see. We have people who see the wealthy and the well-to-do, and they want that lifestyle. I understand. I saw it when I was low, when I saw it when I have no money. I want that lifestyle too. But the difference is I was willing to put in the work and time and effort to get that lifestyle. But many people are not. They want to cheat the system. They want to create a paradigm in themselves of a better life without improving their sales or improving their marketplace value to the world. This does not have a happy ending. There is no love me long time. And this is one of the biggest problems that we have is people have grand expectations, but a very low output threshold. And what I mean by that is you have Ferrari expectations, you have a mansion expectation, but you have no friends, you have no people, you have no one that you know that has scaled those heights. So you think that you can do it when you have no idea what's confronting you. You have no clue to what you need to do to get there. So you think it's easy. Let's take Donald. He actually went on record and he said, who knew that healthcare would be this hard? His son, Jared, who's supposed to solve thousands of years of discord in the Middle East, them killing themselves, fighting in the name of Islam, fighting in the name of whatever they believe. And he was like, wow, this is overwhelming. This is what happens when you have people who don't have the breadth of experience, the acumen, the ability to see into themselves. They think they can do very complex things with very simple solutions. This is what happened. And you can see it doesn't have a happy ending. I will say this, and I'm not going to be overly political, but locking up kids in cages, this is going to have far-reaching effects, and the Democrats may win the House and the Senate because of it. That one issue. Because that's just not who we are as Americans. We're not. Now, most of you are just horrified at these images. But there's a group of people who's like, I don't care. Because it's all about me. It's all about what I want. Well, history repeats itself. This is how Hitler came to power. You know, actually, Hitler was so radical at one point they put him in jail. Yes, Hitler was in jail, and then he got out. He took over the party, and the rest is horrible, horrible history. These things don't start with Hitler. They start with a policy. They start with a tweet. They start with a concept that's just a little seed that grows. And this is a good parallel to your business. You can start with a seed, just a little seed. And then 10 years later, you can have this big, huge tree that grew because your seed, you put the right nutrients into it. You put the right organic water. And then someone else who has another seed down the road, they barely paid any attention to it. And they got a tree, but it's a small and scrawny little tree, and it don't really have a lot of leaves. Part of making it in this country and avoiding the recession, because I'm going to get into a recession lesson in a minute, is watering your seeds, making sure that they're well cultivated, make sure that they're properly taken care of, and also make sure that the soil that you plant these seeds in is nutrient rich. How many of you grew up farming? Yeah, I know a little bit about farming. Like in Alabama, it's hard to grow stuff because there's the topsoil that's dark, black, very rich in nutrients, and then there's this red clay under everything. We had a garden not too far from the outhouse. And now that I think about it, I think I know how that garden was fertilized. But it grew. And my grandmother kept a garden, and it grew corn and okra and all this other stuff. And it grew, and the corn was sweet. The okra was, I didn't like the okra, but everyone else liked okra. I did like the fried okra. And the tomatoes were big and red and juicy because my grandmother, she put like this topsoil on top of the already rich soil. Then she planted the seeds so they were in nutrient density soil. And that's why we had such a beautiful garden. And I would walk around the neighborhood and I would see other people with gardens. Like this one lady, she had these sunflowers and they were huge. I mean, they were like taller than me. And she did the same thing my grandmother did. And everyone that did what my grandmother did, they had great gardens. But the folks who just threw some seeds on the ground, some of it would grow. Some of the fruit looked like it was misshapen, misformed, because it didn't have enough nutrition to grow. That's what many of you are doing with your businesses. You're taking all of the nutrition, i.e. money, out of your business and putting it in your pocket, and your businesses are not growing. Just a thought. Let me get up into these comments. People walking by. Once again, this stream is supported by the community. I want you to go ahead and super chat that. All right. What's up, Johnny Walton? Thank you for being the moderator. And Siri, go away. Does anyone else know that your iPhone or any Apple product you have, the Siri's just popping on all the time? That's a little disconcerting. I'm thinking I have to shut Siri down. What's up, George? Ghosting while black, recession 2008. It's coming. The Wild Jones report, Ganja, Acuna, Richard Pooh. I see you got in on some of that dirty talk. What's up, Christian, Miss Finance, Mentor, Pamela C. Pamela C. serious about that exercise program. What's up, 285 Property, Acuna. Oh man, my knees are stiff. Okay, y'all have this conversation going on amongst yourselves. Anthony Johnson, love these recession talks. We're about to get into it. Roger Steele, good morning to all in the chat. Ganja, that's a great way to be because we're going to talk about, a recession is a time that you can come up if you're prepared. If you're not prepared, it's just going to roll you over. Look at Christian offering some fitness advice. I love that. What's up, Agent J. Poole? All right. I'm just going through this real quick. Yeah, I actually saw that. There are 9 Starbucks in the SeaTac airport. Wow. 285, problem with franchises over saturations. I asked Starbucks this morning after my lift. I'm a black coffee type of guy. Libertarian built too many, and a lot of conservatives are still boycotting them for their promise to hire immigrants over veterans. I still don't go there. I think that doesn't have a serious impact because, and I say this because most people don't know what's going on. Do you know during Watergate, a lot of people didn't know Nixon was up for impeachment until after he resigned, and then the papers hit, and then people were like, oh, it was really serious. That's why I laugh when people's like, hey, he ain't found nothing. It's been a year. Let's end this probe. It's just like most folks don't really care or educate themselves on anything that is beyond their exact purview or what's really in their backyard. They really don't. So a lot of people don't even know about it, and they're not boycotting Starbucks. Same thing with Chick-fil-A and their religious practices. The CEO for Square and Twitter, he tweeted something about Chick-fil-A, and they all ate him up because Chick-fil-A has this policy, I think something against homosexuals. But a lot of folks don't know that. And we'll see you moving to Nashville tomorrow. Honey Bunny, we're well overdue for this recession that we supposedly aren't in. Pretty much. King Nick, yep. My parents live in a half-finished subdivision. They stopped building homes there in 2007, my senior year of high school, and it's still half-finished. You will see that again. What's up, Wayne Johnson? 285 Property, we can choose not to participate by getting the hustles up. And I should let you guys know, Hustlers, Glendon Cameron 07, which was 007, which was the first name of this channel, was started in a recession. And I think one of the best times to start a business is in a recession because you are dealing with real market forces. Because sometimes when the economy is good, your business could be growing based upon not real market forces. And then when people have to start making critical decisions like, do I go get the Starbucks coffee or do I pay my electric bill? The electric bill is going to win each and every time. Even McDonald's is going through a restructuring. I don't know. The libertarian, banking and investing will lose half their jobs to artificial intelligence in a couple of years, which I believe to be very true. And it's another reason that many people who are coming out of college that normally would go into investment banking are going into tech because they see the writing on the wall. There was this article in the Wall Street Journal where a lot of investment banks were having a hard time getting people because they were like, the same talent was choosing tech, which is going to be here over investing, which kind of has a bad rap. So definitely. Jeremiah, also, let's not act like coffee cannot be demonized as a health risk, will hurt their sales like health consciousness is hurting chains like Applebee's and Chili's. You know what's funny about that? There's this company called Black Rifle Coffee, and it's the coffee of a lot of CrossFitters and athletes, because there's something about drinking coffee. I'm not getting this 100%, but it helps burn fat. So you could say that having a lot of coffee with 3, 4, 5, 6, packets of sugars, yeah. But the other argument could also be evidence, because just Google coffee for weight loss and you'll see what I mean. Yeah, McDonald's is definitely a much better deal. Honey Bunny G's telling the truth. I was hired to replace the job of previously 2 different people in the CPA. The owner told me hiring me saved over $100K a year easily. And that's something that you got to take in consideration when you're looking for a job. How easy will it be to replace you? Because if it's easy, it's going to happen very soon. I know of this girl who picked up her family, moved to Kansas for this job. She worked the job for 6 months. Then they laid her off because they bought the software package that could do her job. Ruthless, I say, ruthless, but they did that, knowing good and well, and they gave her like a little extra money because they kind of felt bad having her move all over there, and she ended up moving back to Georgia. The PayPal link. Hold on. Make sure. Yeah, it's down there. I just had to check. PayPal link is under the video. All right. Should have paid the cameraman. That's funny. I'll tell you why that happens. When I was doing the streams on my desktop, I had a lot of real estate, but now I'm doing them on the laptop because I was starting to get neck issues from looking over there and looking at the camera. So I went ahead and switched to the laptop. Also, it was a better view for the DSLR, which now I dropped that thing, so I got to get another one. That's why you don't see those videos. But it is like really, really crazy how I don't have enough room up here, because this software that I use, it doesn't shrink. It can only get so small. So that's why you have these miscues. This is what happens when you do everything live. All right. King Nick, thanks for the $5 super chat. Ben the bartender, motherfuckers on cruise control pretty much. Michelle, thank you for the $5 super chat. Honey Bunny, thank you for the $5 super chat. No lies have been told in the G-verse. Oh, we about to talk about in a minute how to make some money. Jerome Wright, the movie industry is even being interrupted because AMC is coming up with a movie subscription service. Why go to the movies? I mean, I want you to really think about this. You can now have a 75 to 85 inch television. I got a 65 inch television, which is huge. And when I make a transition, I'm probably going to get a 75, 85 inch television. You put a sound bar there. You pop some popcorn in the kitchen. You get a movie experience in your house. You got Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Video, YouTube Video. So movies are being eroded because, especially if you have small kids, you can have date night at home with a big screen television, and then your kids can do what they want to do and they're not screaming their heads off. So that's another thing that's contributing to that. Anthony Johnson, I grew up watching my great uncles make a living off entrepreneurship. I've seen the hard work and also seen the fruit of their labor. I believe that's what sets me apart. Well, that's called having a role model. I had Campbell, who was a pharmacist. I used to hang around his pharmacy, and I just soaked up the knowledge. Mr. Youngblood, hung around him. He was a businessman, soaked up the knowledge. There was this big thing, Simmons Machinery, who was a developer. He had 2 helicopters. I soaked up the knowledge. The more that I think back to my childhood, the more that I realize why I am the way that I am today. I saw what happens when you own a business. You get the big house, you get the nice car, you get the nice wife. I consistently saw that as a kid, but I didn't really think of it in those terms. I just say, that's nice, I want that. That's how I thought. I was in my child mind. And now that I'm an adult, I'm like, whoa. If I grew up somewhere else, y'all wouldn't be talking to me today. This never would have started. And that's the importance of exposing kids to Anthony Johnson's point that once they know something and see something and know it's possible, then their expectations are set. But if all you see is Pookie Nim, the hustle man, and then you become comfortable with it because at a certain age, and I don't even know what age it happens, you become set in your ways. So if hustle man is the greatest ambition in your neighborhood, you may get at the hustle man level, and that's it. I actually grew up around a multimillionaire and didn't know it because I was a child. You know how much it costs to keep helicopters running? Like a part, because the guy showed me, he said this one turbine part was like, now this is $1980. It's like $3,000 to replace this part, and you can only fly it so many hours. That part's probably 15 grand a day, maybe even 20. 285 property, champagne dreams, ginger ale mindset. That's crazy. Monica, thanks for always giving the great information, even for the lurking women. All right. Thanks for the $5 super chat. Oh, Honey Bunny getting technical. AMC makes movies. They cut out the middleman so they don't have to pay as many companies to show their movies. Joe Wright, yep, people are making movies from their cell phones, which is true. What's up, Glenn? Everything is different on your channel. It's more Freaknik, but one on the next level business channel. This will be it. I'm not going to make another one because I already know what happened. Honey Bunny 45. The damage is done. Can you see the ads that are going to come out this fall? You're going to have an ad and it's going to be a kid screaming his head off. And that's how the ad's going to start off. They're not going to let people forget that he did that. He signed it because he had no choice. This was a soul-crushing defeat for him because it's 14 hours before he signed that, he said he wasn't going to do it. And I'm going to tell you what happened. The Senate ganged up on him. They were like 80 deep saying, you need to stop this. Now, if he had kept on, he would have forced this current administration to impeach him. He would have forced them to do it because most people who are not racist and bigots care about other people. And they're like, okay, I understand they're in the country illegally, just send them all back. Don't separate the mom and dad from the kids. And this is a policy snafu that's going to have deep repercussions into the elections because he was already going to have a problem with the midterms. This did not help. Well, see, that's going to be the problem because there's these kids who've been separated from their parents. This is going to stay in the news cycle for months. This is not something that's just going to die now because it's such a hot story. Let's see where we go. Good Lord. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Let me go back. Okay. Anthony Johnson, that political stuff so sensitive to me. Get some damn money. Here's the scary part. Check this out later. YouTube, Google Assistants make. Oh yeah, I did that. Google Duplex. I use GoDaddy SmartLine, and they provide an automated voice for business. It's crazy out there. Johnny Walton, I've been exercising by jumping rope and taking Nugenix Max and HDH. I'm 50. All right, all right. Thanks for the $10 super chat. You're funny. Good Lord. Anthony Johnson, my eBay sales have been booming. I got to bless you. Awesome. Geo Maverick 1224, web development is one of the fields you can make a lot of money without college education, because everybody needs a web developer. I see that being big money for a long time. That's funny. Starbucks pushed back in Austin. It's a lot of independent coffee spots. Erica Williams. That's what I'm trying to change. Almost 29. I don't want to be set in my ways. Ganja. Hey, Cooney, you're right about that. My kids look at me and all their little insecurities vanish. I cried when my son stopped complaining of the bullies at the school. That's cool. Eric Williams, yes, expectations and exposure. So many young black kids at college get teacher degrees. I think it's a lack of exposure and preparation. I know it's a lack of exposure and preparation. And hold on. And this is the point she's trying to make. There ain't nothing wrong getting a teaching degree. But if you knew that you could, like me, I got to see as a kid a garage sale work. And I really didn't think about that until much later in life. I got to see people making money, buying property, starting businesses, because I would hang out with them. They were white people, and I was this little black kid hanging out with them. And you know what? They let me hang out. Mr. Campbell, I'd be up in this pharmacy for hours. Hours. So it does make a huge difference. Purpose fit. There can't be another recession. It's hard out here for millennials. I got friends who aren't even 25 yet with 100. Man, you're going to see carnage. This is Gary V's word. You will see carnage. Pedro, when you say recessions, what markets would take? All of them. All of them. Because the recession in certain segments is like retail is in a recession. Retail is in a tailspin right now. Toys R Us, 450 stores. Starbucks closing 150 plus, because I know it's going to be more than 150. GE, which was just was de-indexed from the Dow Jones. GE, which at one point made more millionaires than any other company, they could sell them for $7 a share, and they're parting out the company. Oh, brick and mortar is on life support. Unless you are, let's say you're a guy or gal, and you want to start a store, and you have the financial wherewithal to pay off your property, to buy your store and pay cash for it, you could probably make a go of it. But if you're renting, oh yeah, you're gonna have some problems. Purpose Pit, it's coming, because this is how recessions work. They don't just pop up. It usually takes many months for them to reach critical mass. And as they're on their way of rolling up, just kind of like this volcano that exploded in Hawaii, You know that volcano has been exploding for years. It was exploding when I was in Hawaii. It's had some bigger eruptions, and it's made the island bigger. You're going to have this recessionary pressures go through segment after segment after segment, and then when you have enough segments that are all in the recession together, then everyone's going to feel it. And I have a feeling that gas is going to be sky high. Mike Page, I listened to Hustler's Mindset. You stress context, looked it up, and still do not understand how you constantly use the word. Context, okay. Context. You got a guy, he finds a girl, he turns her out, and he puts her on the street. That makes him a pimp, right? You find a guy, he gets a girl, he puts her in porn movies. That makes him a pimp. But the pimp on the street is going to be jailed, mocked, and demonized. The pimp on the internet, he's going to get invited to the Playboy mansion because of the context and how he did it. And I don't really see what was so hard about that. I really don't. 285 property is the major education system that needs major overhaul. That too, Erica Williams. All right. I don't know why it jumps like that. And everyone that's listening to the sound of my voice, I want you to super chat $5 or more. Appreciate you. Because we're going to have to get into something else after I go through these comments. Netflix, Redbox, and Amazon buy finance most diverse films. Many black directors in Atlanta and NC are getting $3 million for crappy boo movies every day. The excuses are over. Journal Wright, I was watching Vice, and a huge music director and now the director of Superfly Direct X claimed that tech hurt his business so bad that Drake is the only rapper going to him for music videos. Drake's big. Tech's a huge disruptor. Yes, it is, Journal. Why pay $1 million for a music video when you can shoot it for under $5K? Can I get a hello? This is what I'm talking about, my creative theory, that someone is going to create a song, a book, or something, and due to the massive distribution backbone of the internet, they're going to be able to sell $1 billion worth of their product and keep all that money to themselves outside the transaction fees. Black Page, what about all the black kids that got separated from their parents due to the war on drugs? All right, I'm gonna get real here, and this is another lesson about context. I saw some videos that were massively disturbing because essentially there were black folks who were like, I don't care that these kids are getting locked up because this is what they did to black folks. Part of the problem is when you're in pain, you can't see someone else's pain. When you're in pain, when you've been hurt, when you've been harmed, you are unable to be mature enough to see what's going on. And I'm going to break this down to you for all you folks who's like, well, fuck them. I don't care. They did it to black folks. This is a tactical war. And Trump did this. And as much as those kids were hurting and missing their parents, I hope that he had stuck to his guns because that was going to get his ass out quicker. 14 hours. From when he said, I ain't going to change it, to, the Republican senators that said, look, 80, because it was like 90% of the senators were against him. 90%. 90%. There's only 100 of them. And he knew that if he turned them off, it was over. So stop thinking of me and, quote, black people. And start thinking of the larger aspects of the world. Because one of the reasons that so many black people are in fucked up positions, have no money, live in bad neighborhoods, is they can't stop being black people long enough to look at the way the real world works. So we could talk about it, but it ain't going to change shit because black people don't have any fucking money. And if you don't have any fucking money, you don't have no fucking voice. Can we talk about building economies, getting your money up, and becoming a part of the society versus sitting up talking about, well, this went wrong and I need to talk about it. There's been too much fucking talk about black people and not enough action on building businesses, economies, and institutions. There's just been a lot of fucking talk. So, Black Page, I challenge you to actually do something about the situation. Because it's easy to sit and whine and try to divert the conversation. You want to check me? I've helped thousands of black people start businesses. What have you done? And please answer that. I want to know what you fucking done. Because when I hear this stuff about black people and they always talk about, I also notice there's a lack of massive action. You need some money to be recognized in this fucking world. But for some reason, a lot of y'all don't get that. You think the power construct is just going to give you money, give you power because you whine like a little bitch. It ain't happening. I live in the real world. I invite you to join me there. All right. What's up, Pinpoint Accuracy? What's up, Sharita? Herpes, second generation college. Black kids go to college for tech, engineering, mostly high and paying degrees. What's up, Mentor? Yeah, teachers are going to catch those L's. Journal right? That's crazy, man. The thong song? Being the bartender, you're absolutely right. You can learn a lot at home on your computer now, and that's not worried about disgruntled students. And part of the problem is many people don't know how to learn because the information is here on the internet. It is here, but many people do not know how to use the information or their vocabulary or their understanding. One of the greatest things my grandmother gave me was the ability to read before I went to school. Reading and comprehension is the benchmark for all learning. So you got people who are 18, 19, 20, 25, 30 who are functionally fucking illiterate. So when you say, come to the internet, and I'm not beating up on you, Ben, I'm just trying to expand on your point. You got people who can't assimilate and dissimulate and absorb the information, even though it's free, because they don't have the skill sets to learn stuff. And that's something. And one of the things that, good Lord, one of the things that I'm working on is to become a better teacher and break it down even more because I made the erroneous assumption that y'all would get it. And some of you did get it, but a lot of you didn't because the information wasn't delivered in a method that made sense to you, if that makes sense. Let's see. Maddox, I lost my ass in GE. A lot of people did, man. A lot of people. Do you believe there will be an oversaturation of e-courses in the next few decades? It's still a relatively new concept. Even big universities are crossing over. There will be a lot of people putting out bullshit courses, crappy courses. Yes. Will there be an oversaturation on quality and effectiveness? No. Been the bartender. I know this is what is happening right now. Let's see. Hold on. Good Lord. I went to EUC. They were recruiting day and night for black folks to switch over to business degrees. Finance degrees, tech related. They were throwing internships at me. Wow. Oil prices, gas is going up. Black Page, I do care. I just want fairness for my people. Black Page, let me tell you something. Fuck fairness. Fairness ain't gonna happen. You know, if the world was fair, we never would have been slaves. Well, let me stand corrected. Our great grandpeople would have never been slaves if the world was fair. The world ain't fair. The world ain't never gonna be fair. You can fucking let that pipe dream go and grow the fuck up. What's going to change the plight of black people is economic advancement. You know why? You know, a lot of those white folks who came over through immigration, a lot of those people from Ireland, a lot of the people from Italy, they were treated like niggers. Not Nigga, but Nigger. They were spit upon, they were trashed, and they were forced to live in certain areas. Doesn't that sound pretty familiar? And then, slowly but surely, they worked their way into the American mainstream. Another group, Asians. Asians used to be treated like niggers. Spick, slant-eyed. White boys were not checking for Asian women the way they check now. That was considered a disgrace if you married an Asian woman. All the GIs who were in Korea and brought back Asian wives, they were shunned. But the Asians say, you know what? We're going to become their doctors. We're going to become their lawyers, and we're going to own a lot of fucking businesses. Now you see an Asian kid in a Ferrari, you automatically assume that his parents are rich or he started some tech company. He could have stole that bitch. All Asians aren't smart. So let this fairness shit go. Get your ass to work and build, because ain't no one going to do it. Because this is one of the things. And this is my journey. Because I used to be like, when I lived in the West End, I had this dream. Start a company, fix up all these houses, allow the old people to stay in the house, and then have them deed over the property to my company. And then we took it over after they died and made, all kind of profit, right? And when I told people about it, they're like, that sounds like a good idea. And when I tried to do it, there was so much fucking resistance. It's like, well, who's going to get the money? Who's this? Black people don't work very well together. There's a lot of mistrust and a lot of anger. And I would say, fortunately now, many black people are starting to work together, but for a long, long time, just did. So forget fairness. You might as well just go ahead and take a hammer and knock yourself upside the head if you think fairness is going to enter the equation anytime soon. You got to dominate, take over, and be some, because this fairness to my people, shit ain't going to happen. Stay away from hotels. That's kind of what these live streams are, man. Rugged Collars. I got, what do I got here? I got 188 people here. So I need more people to like, and I need y'all, everyone that's listening to me, to drop a $5 or more super chat. The Jack 81, black people always care about and support everyone else in their causes, which is a good thing. And we also care and support about our own causes. Richmond, there's a bigger picture of what's really going on. Pretty much Steve Wilson. That's it. Gotcha. I'm not sure if your father gave you the lesson in life. It's not fair. I have faith in you. You can change. Wow. Pamela says, as a black person, I know that we won't have the economic power to change anything. Money is power all day long, like Linda said. How many rich black people have been shot by the cops? Can I get a hello? What's up, Armar? Thank you for the $5 super chat. Life's not fair. Miss M Stacks, I woke up to money fucking with Glendon. Yeah, like I said, let's talk about the purpose of the live stream, so to educate and to give people guidance on certain things and to talk about it. Like, I know you want me to get into the nitty gritties and exactly how to do it. And in the future, I will do that in the course, because essentially, if I just gave away all the juicy information, I would make no money. Just keeping it real. Arrogant people. Black people contribute to the separation of the parents during the crack era by selling to their people, though. Oh, don't you come in here with some truth. Don't you dare come in here with some truth. Man. I don't know why this keeps jumping the way that it does. All right, here we go. Who pays for those border shelters of detention? Taxpayers. Torrance J. Playlist, and it's a pretty penny. Wayne Johnson, I live what Mr. G's talking about. Black folks is their own worst enemy. Torrance Playlist, American slavery used family slavery to force fear into Africans too. Douglas Jones, using affirmations to get your subconscious mind. Judson Montemego, the trivium will teach you. What is that? I've never heard of that. Black Page, I'm not asking. Dude, you were like, let's talk about that. And my comeback or clapback was, let's actually get active about that. Let's do action because there's been enough fucking talking already. And my point still stands. So I ain't in my feelings, but it seems like you are. Sky the limit. True, a lot of functional illiteracy. And that's why a lot of people can't learn from the internet. No one talks about that or brings it up, and I talk about it quite a bit. Ganja Black. All right, I'm just going to do that. Ben the bartender. My wife is in coding. A lot of the issues she has with syntax can be found on YouTube. The only problem is they're in different languages. I have noticed that a lot of Indian channels have exploded on YouTube. And if you don't speak, Farsi, you lost. Geo Maverick 124, true. The way to sovereignty is by building businesses and having money. The Jews did it. The Asians did it. We need to do it too. Become so essential to society that they need you. That's the key. I think a lot of black folks are trying to make society bend to their will, and good luck with that. Let's look at the records of that. Ain't happened yet. All right, let me just go through these. Journal Wright, tech is such a huge disruptor that music artists are going to private investors to distribute them to compete with corporations instead of going the traditional route. I actually saw this video where who's the guy that made the diss record about Drake? Pusha T. And he talked about that. He says, I wish I was like these young guys. They're not going for a deal. They're using their own money, and they're building, and they're making more money than me. You can find it. Pusha T. Vlad goes to Journal's Wright's point. Pretty much to a fire property. Archangel Eric Williams, I'm an engineer. When I got my MBA, I had jobs thrown at me. Pretty much Steve Wilson. Oh, Eric Williams. There was a group of illegal Asians going up and down Texas with stolen credit cards. People kept giving them good jobs. People assumed, due to the stereotypes, they were legit. Life ain't fair. Wow, Purpose Pit. 4 white ladies sent me $250 in donations to pay for 7 people of color to take my e-course. That's incredible. All right. I skipped over a lot because I need to get to the training. I will say this. I usually have to get on the phone to talk to folks through simple email issues and simple computer process. Folks are basically functionally illiterate, no skills. And that's a huge, huge problem. I actually see black people paying for Instagrams, begging for companies to hire them and begging people to tag companies in the comment sections. I mean, that's just business. I don't see that as a dignity issue. Do it, JJ. Okay, so let's get into some of this recession talk, because this is one of the problems when you start talking about black folk issues. You just talk and talk and talk and never get anything done. Yeah, I said that because I'm gonna actually talk about my experience when I was coming out of that boarding house. I had an epiphany. I never really was a hotep or identified, or let's use the term pro-black. I was never pro-black or against pro-black. But when I was in that boarding house, I made this decision that I was not going to be black. And what that means is I wasn't going to lead with my, quote, blackness, because the marketability of that ain't that great. So I made a conscious decision to be an educated, intelligent man, to be a good employee, and then being black was like third or fourth on the list. Never brought it up. Never, even when people were being racist, I never brought that shit up. Now, for about a year and a half, I had to go through some stuff. But then I got to the point where I got to be my own man, call my own shots, because I went through the bullshit. And this is kind of one of the problems I see. And it is not even just a black person's problem. It's an entitlement person's problem, that until you get some money, until you get some clout, you have no ass in the fight. You're not going to win. And that's a lesson that I learned. And then especially with when I made the move to Panel Systems Unlimited, they were good people, but there was some racist shit that went down. I never said a word about it because I was like, I ain't going to be here that long. And I think that made it more palatable to me because I knew I wasn't going to be there that long. And then I went to business environments. Then another racist event popped out. 6 months I was gone. And that's the last time I had a job. The difference between me and many other people is I actually did something about the shit that offended me. That's the difference. A lot of people complain and whine, but they don't actually do anything. They don't formulate any plans. They don't formulate any actions on how to facilitate change. None. They just sit there and complain and take it. All right. So first thing you need to do to make money in a recession is to be, and this is going to be a big one, debt free. All right, hold on, let's just title this, How to Build in a Recession. Cool. Number one, debt free. A mortgage at most. No other debt. Now, why is this important? During a recession, everything goes on sale. People go on sale. The price of employees goes down. Furniture goes on sale. The price of buildings, rent, everything goes down. Now, when you're debt free, you're not servicing debt. Your money goes much further. And I'm going to give you an example of this. All right, let's say you have $20,000 in the bank. You have no debt. And then an opportunity comes up because you have money. And let's say there's this business deal, say it's inventory, and they want $20,000 for it. Do you give them the $20,000? No. Why don't you give them the $20,000? You know that in this economic climate, there's not a lot of people with that kind of cash. So you're just like, I'll take it for $15,000. And depending on how desperate they are, they'll take it. They don't have any money and they got the inventory, they're going to take it. And it's like, I'll give you $15,000, no more, and walk away and let them call you back. So you get this inventory of $15,000, but the inventory is now worth $40,000 at sales prices. So you have built yourself an amazing profit of $25,000 off of your $15,000 investment, because you still got $5,000. You sell that stuff, then you go out once again. Now you got $30,000. Not a lot of people with $30,000. So you're able to make these deals and do things because you have cash when most people don't have cash. So your money goes 3 to 5 or 6 times, or in some cases 10 times as far during the recession. That's why you have to be debt free, and that's why you have to have some money. Now, I'm going to tell you what I did. I'm going to give you the whole game. Everyone that is within the sound of my voice, I want you to hit that super chat. I had money when I started YouTube. I had money in the bank. I had no debt, no credit card debt, no car payments, nothing. But I put myself on a $1,500 per month budget. And once that money was gone, I didn't spend no more money. And then I worked on, this is what gave me the ability to work on my YouTube channel for 6 months to start making some money. I was able to work it full time because I had some money. If I was a guy with, some storage auction experience, and I came on YouTube in 2009, but I had a job, it would have taken me 2 years to get to where I got in 6 months. Now, why is this important? Since I worked hard and did not get immediate gratification, I had a 14-month head start on every show and everything. So when people came to the internet and like storage auctions, they found me. When you have money, and this is the thing, you don't have to have a lot of money. You don't have to be a millionaire. If you got $20K to $50K in the bank, no debt, no crazy obligations, the moves that you could make are sick. But here's the problem. Most people don't have any cash money. They may have credit or they may have business credit, but they don't have cash money. And this is why many people say starting a business on credit is foolish. So you spend that money in the business, say $50,000. Now you got to pay back $50,000 plus, which means you must have money coming in at an accelerated rate. One of the things I've learned from starting many businesses is a business is going to do what a business is going to do. You can push on that shit as hard as you want to, and it's just not going to do what it's going to do until you get enough high skill sets to really push it, or you just work your way into it. Now, one of the things that allowed me, with no experience on the internet as a YouTuber, not any experience